So how can investors approach AI and data centers outside of Nvidia?
I think it's a great question, and I love the question that I received from the person. But sometimes if you miss the big wave, there is no wave underneath. Now, of course, there's a bunch of other companies you can invest in, right? I love AMD still. Jensen and Lisa are cousins. Great. You can look at Intel if you're a believer in the old technology and the old dinosaur companies. I don't. You can look at TSM. But the most important lesson, please write this down. Don't miss the fucking wave. If Banks would have went to Raucous, On Fire wouldn't have did as well as if he was with G Unit. Like sometimes you can't miss the wave. Like I was going through my presentations from other Invest Fest. I talked about Nvidia the second Invest Fest. Look at how much money you may have missed out on just not listening. That's why it's important. I was saying this on Stock Club call yesterday. You have to block out the noise, because if the noise don't give you the highest return on capital and on your dollar, what difference does it make? It's cool. Now I'm seeing even people who may not like me are talking about Nvidia. I was on that shit years ago, and at AMD personally, sub $16. Like you can't miss the wave sometimes, and we're seeing this with Apple. Apple is making the adjustment now. What if they would have partnered with OpenAI 2 years ago? Would have been better instead of working on that damn EV car that never came out. So don't miss the wave. You can go to TSM, you can go to AMD. Great. There's other companies you can invest in on the data center side, but you need to be invested in the top two in the space. And if you have a clear winner, like there is with Nvidia, you now have to find a position and spot to get in now, and not get the 15 best player in the space.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's true. Um, but I like the approach of yes. So the person that does miss the wave, like yes, I think we don't say I feel like that's the obvious, right? Like that's that. Don't miss the wave. You don't want to miss it.
I'm going to cut you off and quit missing the show.
That's also true.
Like if only 20 y'all applied to get 100 grand, I don't want to hear you complain about why didn't you tell us and we do the show every week for free. If it was up to me, we'd be charging. Should have been charging for this, for Nvidia alone. However much y'all think our charge is too much, is worth it off Nvidia alone. I don't want to hear nothing. I called a fall of Tesla. They said it was crazy. The cocaine jokes about Elon was crazy until it's not. And now he may not get that payout from them shareholders.
Yeah, they brought that thing. What, 13 million? He wanted like 5 billion.
Yeah,
Crazy,
bro, I'm not giving you that money.
They said they're not trying to prove it. I was saying, like, I think if we look at AI, and not just Nvidia, but as an ecosystem, I like to look at that in its totality, right? Yes, Nvidia is leading the charge and is responsible for a lot of the growth that we've seen inside that space. But what are the things that Nvidia is going to need to be as efficient as possible? Obviously, we know TSM. Even last week, where we saw ASML, right? I talked about AMD's that relationship, well, the TSM relationship with ASML's. TSM was saying that perhaps we'll make the machines that will go inside our foundries. Well, they're saying, okay, if you want to do that, we're going to make even faster machines. Yep. Right. And so these companies are needed inside of that ecosystem. So the more companies you can find inside of that ecosystem that are needed, I think even Super Semi, right? That wasn't a company 3 years we were talking about, but it helps with the efficiency. And everything's about speed. Success loves speed. Business loves speed. They want speed and efficiency. If you can have those two qualities, you're going to be successful. So what is going to help a company like Nvidia, a company like AMD, a company like, what's going to help them become more efficient and doing things faster? Find those companies, because there is an ecosystem that is being built around this technology. So you have to be diligent. But I'm talking about, you hear, go read, go research, figure out why it's needed, because that's where the wins are. That we know that's the wave. If the wave is still moving, then those companies are moving.
Nvidia, KLAC is another ticker, the company KLA, TSM, ASML, and you're good. I know some of you are trying to lean on Micron. I wouldn't do it. And
Broadcom,
AMD,
right?
Broadcom will give you exposure.
Yeah.
The companies we've all talked about the last 3 or 4 years. If you go to eninvest.com, you'll get some of these exclusives and be way ahead of the curve. Shout out to those of you who are up 600-700% off long term before you even got into the option part. Then if you go to the options class, then you can be up another 600-700%. Go to InvestFest, look good, and then you won't even need the 100 grand.
Nah, it's crazy. Like those two things. If you have all those things in a row, I'll just say this last piece about the investment, right? So that those Nvidia shares I bought when they were $211.
Yep.
Those shares are up, I think, I don't even have to guess. I'll just tell you what they are. Hold one sec.
Those shares, 418.
Those shares are up 474%, right? Those shares. A month prior, I bought that 205 call. That 205 call is up 1,900%, right? So the shares are at, and that's great. That's great. That's phenomenal, right? 470% in two years. That's incredible. 900% in 2 years is out of this world. Like that's the difference in having shares, which is great, and having an understanding and utilizing options.
Yeah, then if you have the features on top of it for a cash flow trade, then you can be up another 30 or 40 grand. But this is the big lesson out of
that's the Steph
Curry. What 20 people applying. If y'all want to apply to get 100 grand, I know you're not doing what you need to do on a daily basis to get to freedom. You're not doing it. Put it in chat. I deserve to be free, but you got to do the fucking work that comes with being free. The boy flew from Miami to Boston, made the game, went out to the Rucker game, and then made it here. And you're saying it's too hard when I'm spoon feeding you the information?
Literally.
They're giving you 100 grand. What? Don't be mad. I get on that stage and get the 100. I don't want to hear nothing. The vultures and it was rigged. All that. Yes. Grifter.
Like, yeah, they said you coming at 4. No, I'm part of the pitch competition.
I'm part of the pitch. What?
You made it to the finals.
Crazy. Can we talk about that in that Will Smith clip? Like what it takes to be free. A lot of people say that you want to be free, but are you doing the work every day? And when you do it, the work becomes fun. And I've always said it, the thing that makes trading and investing really fun for me, I get to hear and watch people not take the right action. And I use that as a superpower to make sure that I do the right thing.
This is different.
Put the time in every day, man. Stop making all them excuses. If I'm telling you and putting even when people are like, yo, you charge too much. This show is free. Gave you everyone. I told y'all about the downfall of Kathy. Boy, she should have listened to me too. The downfall of Tesla. Cool. The one thing, he was wrong on Square. Nvidia made up for 400 motherfucking squares. Get in the circle. That's what I'm going to say. Stay close. Get in the circle and win.
Stay close.
Ron Kitty remind me of somebody else who had them bad options too, but I'm a chill.
So,
Shotty tired of my bullshit today.
The show is free, and a lot of people's lives have been changed. Our lives have been changed.
Shout out to y'all. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, thousandaires. There's some millionaires. I'm sure there's some multimillionaires. So the people who are doing the work continue to do it. The people who have sat on the sideline and watched and what's the next thing, right? Like even now, like last week, that was something that literally happened in real time. It was put into a platform. And I'm talking about 4 days later, you're up 200%. Where in the world does that happen?
And then y'all got the nerve to charge $100. I'm like, bro, change that price. What?
The only feedback I got was from Mike, and he told me that I should have called him personally. And I said, then you should be in the community and reading the chat. So I got him on that. But shout out to everybody that took advantage. We got more to come though. That's
more to come.
But this is another part, and I think you asked me this question. And you're like, well, why don't you do as many trades? I said, number one, the strategy that I take, it has to be precise. Like when I shoot, I cannot miss.
You can't miss,
right? I can't afford to miss because I don't think the average person can afford to miss. So I have to put myself in a position where it's like, if I shoot, it's got to work.
Yeah,
it has to work. And so
less trades is more. Yeah,
I do less, but when I pull the trigger, it's going to be for a reason, and you'll see why.
Yeah. And I think sometimes people think more is better, but when less is actually more. Even on Stock Club Call yesterday, someone was like, well, when I'm trading off or bad, I'm taking 15 trades a month. When I'm doing really well, I'm doing between 4 to 6. All the great traders are going to be in the same range of trades. Yeah.
It's a risk management too, right? If I had 17 different trades, that's
a lot to manage.
It's tough. I mean, like, how did I?
And if 3 goes wrong, it drags down your entire portfolio.
Oh, that's the worst feeling.
Yeah.
That's the worst feeling.